Alright, since I gotta make this adjustment anyway, I may as well turn this into an episode of driving the Cougar. I discovered the Cougar was overheating, and our radiator is empty. Kinda hard for that to show up on camera, but trust me, that is empty. And let me show you guys why. So if I get under the Cougar right here, and try not to kill myself. Oh god, where's my camera at? Alright, there we go. Hopefully that stays like that. If I shine this light up here and show y'all this, oh god, I don't know how I'm going to do this without the camera getting all wonky. If I show y'all that right there, that is a freeze plug that has blown out. And unfortunately, it's right under the motor mount. So that is going to be a challenge to be able to get into. I have no idea how this camera is actually recording, so I apologize in advance if that is a little wonky. I will try and clean it up best I can. Alright, so my big problem is that I don't have a means to be able to fix that with my current location, so I need to get this to the mechanic shop that I have here in town. It's just a mechanic shop. I have access to it, long story short. It's not the one I usually go to, so I have no idea what to expect. But I need to pull the motor mount, lift up the motor, and get to that freeze plug. Issue is getting the Cougar there with a freeze plug that's leaking. I can't go a full mile without the radiator running out of water. So my plan, I'm going to try to JB weld that bastard, and we will see how well that works. I got some high heat JB welding. It's just got to last long enough for me to be able to get to the mechanic shop, so wish me luck. Alright, just because of my super precarious situation right now, don't know how well this is going to come up on camera, but that right there, back there, that's our freeze plug. Got JB weld inside of it. Oh goodness. Cougar's not up on jack stands right now, I'm just kind of under it. Not an easy thing to do. And then on top of that, I also had a leak right back here on the little metal pipe that goes to the heater core. I tried replacing the hose, did not work, got in there with the camera, and turns out that I just had a little rust hole in that thing too. So I went ahead and I JB welded that, and my hopes is that the water coming from that was maybe getting into the valve cover right here. Because whenever I open up this bad boy and take a look inside, look at all that moisture. That's not good, Batman. That's not good at all. So hopefully getting that sealed off, because apparently that's been happening for quite some time, and I don't know how long that's been happening. But hopefully getting that taken care of, we'll get that taken care of. The Cougar's also adopted a little bit of a misfire, and I'm hoping it's got to do with the condensation that is in there. So fingers crossed on that. I'm going to drive it around a little bit, and hopefully that solved our problems. Alright, survey says this right here is still leaking. However, this is not near as bad as it was. I really hope I did not JB weld that hose to the engine, because by God, that's never going anywhere if that's the case. But with this not being near as bad as it is, I now know that that right there is where the problem is, so I'm going to continue to JB weld that until that seals up. Getting up under there with one hand is a little on the tricky side, but I'll make it work. We also got quite a bit of steam coming out of my oil cap here, so yeah, fantastic. That's not good. Oh, that's not good at all. Look at all that condensation in there. Look at how steamy that is. I'm just gonna leave that open and air that out. I'm hoping that that right there is the problem, and that I didn't blow a head gasket or something, because if I blew a head gasket, oh, that's not good. Oh, look inside of this thing. Look at all that disgusting garbage in there. Okay, we're gonna actually take that off the intake, and I'm just gonna kind of let it air out down in that direction for now. Okay, let me see what I can do here. I just had the Cougar running. Looking at the oil on the dipstick, does not look like we have any water mixing with the oil while the engine is running, and that tells me it probably is just the valve cover right there that's getting in a little bit of condensation, which is what we're seeing here. Because if it was the head gasket, we'd have a much bigger problem. Not only that, but the Cougar does not overheat, and if the head gasket was blown, then the Cougar would definitely overheat. We would see like real milky water oil mix combination if the head gasket was blown, and we're not seeing that here. So I don't think it's the head gasket. I think that we just have ourselves a little bit of a condensation issue from that back part dripping onto the valve cover. So once I get that fixed, hopefully that solves that. I've been opening up the engine and like airing it out like I am right now, and that seems to have gotten rid of the misfire as well. We'll see how that holds up, because I don't know about that one. Alright, with that sketchy fix and the horrible camera angle because the sun is terrible right now, I'm currently doing about 68 miles an hour in the Cougar, going down a 70 mile an hour interstate. We're seeing how well it holds up. I've been doing this for like, I don't know, rough estimation, 15 minutes now. I stopped off, made sure nothing was leaking. We have a full pressurized system, so nothing seems to be leaking except for that one little tiny spot that is above the valve cover gasket. I have not resealed that, but as a matter of fact, I'm going to pull off right here. Yeah, you know what? Since I was driving the Cougar here anyway, let me go ahead and show you guys this real quick. Alright, so I did quite a bit of driving, and it just so happens I was going down the road that this dirt road connects it to, and this dirt road is actually the dirt road that connects to the gun range. I don't feel confident bringing the Cougar down this road, at least not right now, only because that road is very, very bumpy. I don't want to bump this thing loose. So we are holding temperature. We're sitting at about 180 or so, and that's fine. The thermostat opens up on the Cougar at 185. Besides that, she did have a misfire coming out here, but I kind of drove the Cougar like I stole it, and that cleared up the misfire. The Cougar drives fantastic. So, let me tell you guys about the misfire real quick. The Cougar drives well, and it runs really well, and then suddenly it will have an intermittent misfire that is really, really intense. And it almost sounds like the engine is not getting enough gasoline. That tells me maybe the fuel pump doesn't have enough pressure, but then I took the Cougar out and I drove it like I freaking stole it, and we definitely have enough fuel pressure because I had some pretty decent velocity coming out of this car. So I'm thinking it's something electrical. Besides that, I was thinking perhaps, maybe, question mark, oh, look at that, it's a sandhill crane. Those bastards used to traumatize me as a kid. They used to chase me around. But I'm thinking it's electrical. I thought maybe it was the throttle control or the throttle position sensor, but I went ahead and I wiggled and I jiggled that, and that didn't do anything. I tapped it a bunch, and sometimes the Cougar runs fantastic, sometimes it doesn't, and I played with that thing, and that doesn't seem to affect anything. So up next, I think I'm going to try the actual computer that controls the EFI system. It is right down there underneath that panel. I had it swapped out once before, but that was like, I don't know, almost a decade ago at this point. It might just need to be re-swapped out. Like right now, the Cougar's running fantastic. We got no misfire, and she sounds great. So let's go ahead and get back on the road, and we'll see what comes of it. That big concern is definitely the temperature. Alright, while we're here, I'll show you all the road. This is what makes going to the gun range so gosh darn difficult. Wait for this guy. That long stretch of road right there, it goes on for miles, and it is just ridiculously bumpy, and once you get to the end of that road, it is nothing but swamp. That is why it's so hard to get to the gun range at this particular place. Alright, let's see if I can ease my way out here. Nice and slow here. Alright, perfect, fantastic. Oh, there we go. Alright, I'm gonna drive the old Cougar like we stole it. Yeah, she definitely has plenty of fuel pressure because that's plenty of acceleration. So, fuel pump's not the problem. It is just an occasional misfire
and it just every now and then it happens. And so I'm thinking it's probably the computer that controls the EFI system. I don't think it's individual injectors, because it seems like it's the whole engine that has problems. Because whenever I hit the gas, I get, it very clearly tries to accelerate, but I've ran the Cougar out of fuel before, and that's exactly what it sounds like. We got ourselves plenty of fuel inside the fuel tank, so I'm thinking that maybe we just have something going on to where the Cougar's engine is not getting enough fuel. So I'm going to tinker around with that. I'm probably just going to bite the bullet and swap out that computer for the EFI system, because that's not overly expensive. That's kind of my general plan with that.
Alright, let's see what we're looking at here. Definitely still have a little bit of leakage right there, but that, like I said, is not near as bad as what it used to be. So that I can work with. Big question is right here. What do we got going on? Dot, dot, question mark. Hell, that's dry as a bone. Very nice. Man, that is definitely a good sign. I'm going to go ahead and leave that open just to kind of help air things out. We definitely have some drippage coming out through right there, but I think that right there is mainly oil. I don't see any water in there. That's also a good sign. I got this big hole right here in the intake now, so I'm going to have to plug that up. I'm probably going to leave that open, so that'll be our little vent to air out. I think just diddling around here, right here's our throttle control sensor, throttle position sensor. And right here we can see that it's zip tied on. I thought maybe it was loose connection. I made sure it was nice and tight. But if we look right back here, you see how this is all jerry-rigged and wired and whatnot? That might have something to do with our problem, because that connects right to the TPS module. And right here, this is a little either fuse or relay. I can't quite remember what it is, but this has been jerry-rigged with as well. So maybe something finally wiggled its way loose, and that's why we're having a misfire that I can't identify. We got compression, we got fuel, and we got spark in all of our cylinders, but for some reason, every now and then the Cougar just gets a little misfire. So I'm going to go ahead and repair those, see what that does, and we'll see where we go from there. Okay, now for the fun part. We have a lot less water coming out of that one spot by that hose that I just kind of applied multiple coats of JB Weld onto. Now it's to the point where I'm not concerned at all with it. It's just a few drops. However, I'm still going to keep JB welding that until that decides to stop. So this right here is the Cougar. I just drove it down the long dirt road that I had brought up before, and right there is the entrance to the gun range. So now I get to carry all of my stuff right here out there, and that's where the difficulty lies. I also forgot my rain boots. This will not be fun. Okay, so we are a little ways down the road here, and puddles like this right here are why I can't bring the Cougar back here. Now in dry times, like wintertime and whatnot, these do get low enough for me to kind of bring the Cougar through them, but I don't have anyone out here that would stop me or pour me out if I got stuck. And as of right now, this thing right here is probably about 2.5, 3 foot deep, and it's all soft sand. Yeah, there's a little walkway that goes around it. That's what I use, and I just park the Cougar out over that way. So carrying all of my guns and recording equipment, and I'm gonna kind of mess up the camera angle, but I got this big old backpack on. I'm walking out in this direction to the gun range. This is what makes filming so difficult. Combine that with having to go down that big dirt road to get out here, and it's definitely quite the process. Okay, here we are. One of the multiple gun ranges that are out here. I'm going to set my stuff down because it is heavy. Alright, this concludes this episode of Driving the Cougar. I had to fix a blown freeze plug and see if I could get the Cougar to stop misfiring. I have not fixed that wire yet on the throttle control sensor. However, since the Cougar is no longer leaking water onto that valve cover and we're no longer having water inside the valve train, the misfires are gone. So I'm like 99.99% sure that right there is where our problem came from. So now
I'm going to go ahead and do some filming for the YouTube channel. I got a couple of rifles over there and a bag of ammo. All that is very heavy bringing out here, but bringing it back, I'm a few pounds lighter because I burned through the ammo. So thanks for watching, folks. I appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Description below has a link to all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. You guys go off, have yourself a fantastic day. I'll see you all on the next one.